With Evercade, you can play over 500 games across more than 60 cartridges, and we've been continually releasing new collections for the platform since 2020. If you're new to Evercade, you might not have taken the time to explore some of the games that came out earlier in the system's lifespan. And if you're an experienced veteran, it might have been a while since you spent some time with these games. That's what our Highlight of the Month program is all about. Each month, we'll be picking out an individual game from our back catalogue and showcasing it directly from the Evercade menu. You can play the game for free, even if you don't own the cartridge it's on, until the next Highlight of the Month shows up. It's a chance to catch up on some titles you might have missed, or learn a bit more about some games you might not have played for a while. And it's a great opportunity for the community to all explore a game together at the same time. For May 2025, it's the turn of the tricky puzzler Old Towers, part of Megacat Studios Collection 1. This cartridge was one of the Evercade launch titles, and demonstrates that our commitment to showcasing top-notch modern retro indie titles for classic platforms has been present right from the start. Old Towers is the work of Retro Souls, a prolific indie developer from Russia, also known as Denis Grachev. Retro Souls has been making games for a wide variety of classic platforms for many years at this point, with their many titles available for both home computer and console platforms. Old Towers itself originally dates back to 2018, when its 8-bit microcomputer incarnation was simply known as Old Tower singular. The 16-bit console version that is today's Highlight of the Month came out a year later, in 2019, and featured enhanced visuals and sounds over the original home computer version. In the grand tradition of classic video games, Old Towers doesn't have much of a narrative setup. In Retro Souls' own words, you play as little explorers in towers full of deadly traps and ugly skulls. Your only weapons to help you win? Quick thinking and skill. At its core, Old Towers is a puzzle game, and key to mastering its many challenges is understanding its movement mechanics. The playable characters can stand on walls and ceilings as well as the floor, but once they start moving in a direction they won't stop until they hit something. That means in its more complex levels, you'll want to plan out your moves carefully before committing to them, because in some cases poor planning can lead you into an unwinnable situation. You will also want to be careful of your timing, as many stages feature deadly traps and enemies who will defeat your explorers, and when this happens you will have to start the level over. There's no way to defeat the enemies, but sometimes manipulating stage elements will allow you to block off certain traps and make them safe. Your basic aim in each stage is to collect all the dots and coins, then get to the exit. If the level features more than one playable explorer, you need to get all of them to an exit. Remember that in these cases, you can use the explorers to block one another's path, allowing you to manipulate their movement a bit more than if you rely exclusively on the construction of the level. As you progress, you'll encounter various block types. Some blocks are initially incorporeal, but become solid when you pass over them. Some blocks disappear after you've stood on them. Diagonal-shaped bumpers will bounce your explorer through 90 degrees and cause them to continue on their way rather than stopping. And of course, there are the traps. Stay out of the spikes, and watch out for arrow-spitting statue heads, though note you can stand on the side of the spikes. Controlling Old Towers is simple. Just tap a direction on the D-pad to move in that direction. Remember, your character won't stop until they hit a solid obstacle. If you're in a stage where there's multiple explorers to control, pressing the X button will switch control between them. And to get a better overview of the situation, press A to toggle the D-pad between controlling the characters and letting you scroll around the screen. If you get completely stuck and want to start the level over, press B, though note this will cost you one of your lives. If you run out of lives, you can continue, but this will cost you all your points. Challenge yourself to make it as far as possible without continuing, and see how many points you can score. Note that at the end of each stage, the game will prompt you to press A. This is referring to the original host platform's controller. On Evercade, this button is mapped to X instead, so when you clear a stage, press X to confirm and continue on your way. Old Towers is a great game, with some truly excellent music, and a delightful showcase of the modern retro indie scene. Developers from all over the world are continuing to work wonders with classic gaming hardware, and we're always thrilled to be able to share those wonderful projects with you through our cartridge releases and programs like Highlight of the Month. Now what are you waiting for? The treasures of the old towers await. To get started with the Highlight of the Month program, just update your Evercade EXP, EXPR, VS, VSR or Alpha to the latest firmware version via the System menu. Then navigate to the EXP, VS or Star logo on Evercade Alpha on the left side of the main menu and access it from there. Please note that save states made while playing the Highlight of the Month version of Old Towers will not carry across to the cartridge version, and vice versa.